Hello, myself is Ramakrishna here. We are discussing on the topic that is education. And in education, basically, we are discussing on the most dangerous topic that is India account. In India account, basically, you can, if any of the American person basically is watching this video, then he can replace from India account to America account. If some Bangladeshi groups are watching this video, then they basically can replace from India account to Bangladesh account. If some Afghanistan person is watching this video, then he can replace from India account to Bangladesh account. Sorry, Afghanistan account. So after that, basically we are discussing about the Amazon account, and after 2 days, basically the big earthquake is going to come to India. But in really, basically, it's not going to come. Just taking as an example. Basically. Really, basically, anything has happened. Basically, no, basically. So this everything is basically just virtual. 100 crore child is going to come. 10 crore project basically which has generated. But really is what that 3 lakh land basically, which is generating the power supply. So that basically need to check, keeps on tracking, basically keeps on tracking whether it's generating perfectly data or not. If it's not, then basically you have to try to update the plan. So that basically periodically the people basically that are the companies basically especially, so you will not able to believe it basically that especially companies are there for the lava data, that this basically power supply, that is the Microsoft. So Microsoft is what going to think na basically that lava data basically is dumped into that land basically. So in this world basically the people are thinking whatever thinking basically they are thinking, that is controlled by some group basically. One person told that bhai mera koi nobody basically can control me, but he was getting controlled by his company basically. One person told that yeah basically I am basically owner of 5,000 restaurant, but he was getting controlled by his customer and his employees. Then like this basically one company owner basically told, IBM owner basically told, "Arey bhai, bhai, I am the IBM owner basically. Nobody can control me." But that land basically was controlling IBM. So you can just imagine basically the creation which is already done. So one person basically told basically, why basically you discussed this topic here, Sunil? Basically, this person is controlling this person is controlling this person is controlling this, that person is controlling that person is controlling that person basically is controlling that person. Here basically one person was basically sleeping, his head was damaged, who basically was controlling that data. So this everything basically who is controlling. So one person told that basically depends upon the thinking basically, what he thinks. According to the thinking, the energy connects. And according to the energy, he do the task. That's all. It's a simple language basically. Think, energy connects, do the task. Some tasks basically are pre-defined. Like one person told that यार मेरे को recharge करना है मोबाइल का. I basically want to do that. One person told that basically I want to apply for the job. So I am basically want to sit in that computer and basically I want to apply. I basically want to apply for the this company, and basically I got the interview call. I want to give the interview, and basically I want to give the telephonic interview or Skype interview or basically my any interview basically from the laptop or from the computer. So these all are predefined basically. So each task basically are predefined, but some tasks basically are suddenly happen. Like 3 lakh multiplied by 3 lakh. That is a combination. Even basically, government basically don't have the data. Sometimes governments are hopeless. क्या करें हम? Sometimes government has told that basically, भाई what should we do next? In Corona, more than 100 crore people basically died. They literally told, what should we do next? They literally cried basically. One person basically is crying for job, basically is not getting the job, and he's doing like this. I am not getting job. I am not getting job. So literally they basically cried. 100 crore people basically died that time. That was government. That was basically government who actually cried, and that basically really happened. Just a minute. So one person basically went to Mumbai. He basically not got the job. He basically cried in train basically, and then basically came back from Mumbai. Same way government cried when 100 crore people basically died. So government basically cried when 100 crore people basically died. So that is different thing basically. That topic actually we are not discussing. But here by discussing that basically we connect to this, and this we connected why? Because each person's ideas. One person told that basically I got this idea here basically. But how he got this idea? That is basically because whatever thing basically you connects to your brain na basically, that is coming from some other person's body basically. You can't able to believe it. Basically. You can't imagine. For example, one person told that, nah, re bhai, you are wrong basically. I am basically sending idea from that mobile. I am sending idea from that computer. But you are sending na basically. Then ultimately you only came into picture. Yes, yeah. Sometimes basically you will not able to believe basically in IT industry. I basically one got one call, but that was call basically was doing what from computer he was typing basically each and every things basically he was typed. He was just doing the copy paste. Actually he was basically, but the voice was of girl basically, and he was copy pasting and we basically giving the answer. But in really basically there was no one basically who was talking. Only one software basically was there, and he was copy pasting the questions and basically I was giving the answer. And this is what this was basically real. Just a minute. So see basically how the things are going to connect basically. Exact seconds. Like basically Bollywood give the advertising basically. This is going to happen. So literally basically it happens. So just a minute. So one person told that क्या timing है for a timing. So you can't imagine basically the timing. So one person told that we basically have taken the backup of world basically. That also one other person basically told. So you can just imagine basically. So one person told that one world basically is there, but you can't create the another Earth planet. You can take the backup, but you can't create the Earth planet. Earth planet is basically one only, one and only Earth planet. But you can't create the another Earth planet. That is the thing. That is the stuff. So one other person told that yeah, it's very dangerous thing basically you are basically discussing. So you want to say that basically the 850 crore computers basically are getting the power supply from Canada land that is created by someone, and he's creating something basically. So Microsoft energy basically, that are lots of people says that Microsoft owner basically is thinking, but his group basically he's basically is bond with some group basically that are set of people basically. So one person told that Microsoft basically that land is basically controlling that 1 crore people basically, and that 1 crore energy is Microsoft software. So see the chaining system you see basically. So one person told that this lava company is basically getting data how basically that this person is supposed to think like this person is supposed to think like that 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 person is supposed to think like that. How basically that decides? Because that is connecting to Microsoft tools basically. That tool basically you can see that is created from this 500 energies. That tool basically you can see that is created from 5 lakh energies. That tool basically you can see that is created from 10 lakh energies. That tool you can see of Microsoft that is created from 15 lakh energy, 15 lakh people energy. That tool basically you can see of Microsoft that is created from 20 lakh people energy. So that was shocking basically, and that energy basically was controlled by that lava data basically. That is Microsoft land, and that Microsoft land is created by that lava group. That is one of the company basically. That also you can say that it is a window maker. That is Microsoft maker. So one person told that this is also basically one of the person basically told. Like this basically. Yes. Glass basically. So one of the person told that how that is possible here basically. How they basically creates basically. How they basically do that basically. How basically Microsoft software is created. How SAP software is connected with this 1 crore people. How Microsoft software is connected with 1 crore people. That is not basically strange basically. Just a minute. So one person told that is strange. That is strange. And one person told that Sunil basically you got birth basically. That basically we know because why basically I can touch you basically I can see you. One person basically can see me. One person basically can see me. Why? Because I am existing. But how basically you came in this world basically? So one person basically started this story, that story, this story, this story, this story, this story, that story, this story, this story, this story, this story, that story, this story, this story. All stories basically connected, and one human soul is basically connected, and that human souls basically was came from that land basically. So one person told that क्या बात कर रहा है यार? So you know that where is that land? Then Sunil man told that basically that land basically you can't see. No, I can see better, but your data basically is there basically from which you came. The sand basically which you came basically. So that basically the person basically was shocked again. Basically. ये क्या बोल के आया? Then one of the satellite person told that we basically have the data, but that is basically very old power supply data, which has converted to sea water basically, and it might be possible that basically that water basically might be dumped in any of the city under. So that basically somebody is trying to track basically if they can track this basically where is the Sunil or Nair water, because that is one tracking basically one of the challenging tasks basically which was taken by the satellite, because that is very dangerous basically, that's what I'm telling you. So one person told that your head, somebody basically damaged your head, so he connected up to that level and then basically damage, because then only basically they can damage your head. Then he told that yes, basically they actually tracked it. Then basically why they are not tracking, not able to tracking, not able to track basically now. Just a minute. So one person told that yeah, basically you basically give always this type of task basically. So one person told that this is also one of the data science project. That is in this world basically there are 900 crore people. That water basically is of that person. That water is of from that person. That water is of that person. That water is of that person. That water is of that person. That data basically Earth planet basically don't have. But satellite group basically are telling that basically we are basically we will let you know soon. Because this was challenge basically for satellite group. Because this type of question basically nobody asked basically after basically the Earth planet has got the birth. Basically. You are the first person basically you are basically asking the question. This type this type of question. So one person told that yeah, where basically Sunilar Nair water is. Where is that person's water? Where that person basically is moving. Yes, yes, I can see that person. Where his water is here basically. Tell basically, tell. So that one person basically somebody collected this requirement and he basically can't do copyright also. Why? Because satellite group basically are trying to find out that water basically. And when they will find the water basically, then only will basically you can do the copyright. of this software. Otherwise, basically, we will be going to break the rule of universe, and that is very dangerous. If you will be going to break the rule of universe, then basically universe group will say that भाई हमको पता नहीं है तुझे कैसे पता चला because we are only passing you the idea. एक आइडिया जो बदल दे आपकी दुनिया. Same way one person told that Microsoft basically is thinking because he is getting some data from somewhere, right? The Microsoft people basically that are 1 crore people basically they are thinking. Why? Because the Microsoft creator that are the lava creator basically that are actually one of the person basically asked the question ये लोग क्या मतलब what they do यार basically है मतलब क्या करते हैं ये लोग and how they basically know that this person basically has to think this way only. That is the question. That means they are God basically. One of the person basically told that also. That means they are God basically. Because if you are controlling anyone's thinking, that means basically you are God. Just a minute. So that was shocking basically. Microsoft basically is energies are controlled by that land basically. So one of the person told that यार मतलब क्या करेंगे अभी? Should we finish the world only or what? One of the person basically told that also. So one person basically told that this is basically you can see this pen, this pen basically. This is basically what basically. Then one person basically from satellite told the yeah this is Sunil basically. Do you know basically you are basically this was basically this basically the schools basically were using the ball pen ink pen basically. Yes basically that pen basically we remember. Basically. So this is that pen basically. This is that ink pen basically. Which school basically told that basically भाई इसको बैन कर दिया. They basically banned that pen. Why? That basically is kahani basically. So that also we are going to discuss. So one person told that what is this basically? Then one person told ये तो दादागिरी है. ऐसे गुजरात उनके बाप का है मतलब. They were basically telling that basically. So one person told that who basically are controlling whom basically. One person told that Microsoft land basically is Microsoft power basic sorry Microsoft corporation basic that is the software company that is getting the power supply from that land and that land basically is created by that group basically and that group basically are telling that basically we are getting the data from that 1 crore people basically and 1 crore people basically are telling that we are generating this story that story this story that story this story that story that story this story that story this story that story this story this story somebody basically got cancer so he connected to that story somebody basically connected to heart disease he basically connected to that story somebody basically got damage to head basically he connected to that story. So they basically get treatment with it, and they basically converts into antibiotic. They converts into antibiotic. So whenever basically you are sitting at the Microsoft basically that time basically you are not getting headache, you are not getting any type of cancer disease. Why? Because it's a filter data, and that is basically the antibiotic of your body parts. Basically. And sometimes basically it get gussa also. It get gussa also. That time basically he reacts something else. So one person told that, yeah, this very dangerous thing. Basically, you are discussed. Basically, you are discussed. Just a minute. You are discussed. Basically, that's very dangerous thing. Basically. So one person told Sunil, basically in which company basically you are working with? They were doing jasusi of your laptop. So basically, Sunil Nair basically told that he created one book basically related to Apple basically, Apple mobile basically, and he connected to many. He basically created around 1,000 page book basically, but somebody was tracking basically, and he got jealous basically. He got jealous and he basically fired Sunil Nair. Why? Because he was thinking beyond something basically. So same way basically this video basically you can see Microsoft is getting power supply from that land. So this is not very dangerous thing basically which we are discussing here. So that is not beyond the Microsoft. Microsoft also basically might be thinking that kahan hai bhai wo land? Where is that land? So Microsoft basically is not going to fire me basically. He will try to find out the land basically. So that is the sporty. That is known as sporty. You are not supposed to fire anyone. You are not supposed to do jalan basically. You have to be sporty. You have to be sporty. You are not supposed to jalan. Jalan mat karo. Microsoft basically tried to find out that land basically. Where is that land basically? He basically not become basically angry and basically he told that basically I am firing your laptop, I am firing your computer, I am firing your this that basically each and everything. That basically is not doing basically. He is trying to find out that land basically. Sunil Narnar basically told this basically. Whether it is correct or not basically, that basically we need to confirm basically. Because this is very dangerous thing basically which he has told basically. But that company basically got jealous basically. And they basically fired Sunil Narnar. But that time basically they were supposed to collect the information. But they got Jalan basically. That how basically he can think beyond us. Basically. Just a minute. Just a minute. So he thought that yes, how basically got he basically thinking is beyond us basically. He's not supposed to sit here basically. Fire him. So they fired. Why? Because he's not supposed to think beyond us basically. So you can't think beyond your company owner basically. Keep this in your mind. You basically can't think beyond the manager basically. The reporting person for example I am reporting to one director. So I can't think beyond that director. Otherwise basically he will fire me. That is India culture. And this has happened basically in India many times. And that has happened to me basically many times. In previous company I was reading I basically had written one book. And that laptop basically my after some time basically I got the information basically, that my laptop basically was on track basically. That whatever thing basically I was doing basically, that company was tracking. So be sporty. That apps is there basically. Sporty bano, sporty. One person basically is hitting 100. That means basically he's not supposed to hit his head, hit his leg. Be sporty. He's doing that means he's doing basically good. Be sporty. Try to be like sporty basically, not jalan basically. Jealous is basically will harm you basically in future basically. But if you will be sporty, then basically it is. Just a minute. Just a minute. So one person told that the people basically are doing jasusi basically your laptop here. Basically. That means you are basically terrorist basically. But terrorists basically are that 93 bomb blast group basically that we have already discussed. Nobody tracks them basically. Why? Because if you will track them basically they will shoot you. Why? Because you feel that basically police groups basically are God. That is basically the impression of public basically. अरे भाई पुलिस है, नमस्कार, नमस्कार, पुलिस है. That is basically the impression of public basically. But reality is what? But entire police department is not like that. Few people basically are there basically. They say that basically we believe in peace basically, and few people basically say that we don't believe in peace. So who decides basically that in this city, this police commissioner to be placed? That is the government. Basically. Government only decides everything because that's why basically they are government. Na, basically, otherwise government knows that Microsoft is getting power from that land, and that land is created by this group, and this group basically are telling this is the 1 crore people from we are taking the power data and we are dumping into this lava. So be sporty. So Microsoft told them basically we are trying to find out that land, and we are going to reach to that group also, and that 1 crore people also basically we will connect. And they basically might have done that also long before basically, because this thing basically I had discussed long before basically. So be sporty, don't jealous basically. So one person basically immediately were passing from the satellite, and he told them, Sunil, basically you got the job. You basically started earning the money basically. You basically done the second marriage. Then basically you started the birth basically. Sorry, birth means you got the you become the father. Then Sunil Larna told that no, just a minute. So immediately basically he exited that area from satellite. And next time basically when would be recording the video, that time also basically you might be asking this question. You got the job. That time basically he will be connecting second time. So that will be dusra. So one of the person told that, yeah, power companies are connected up to what level? Yeah, we basically never thought this. Yeah. We never thought this. Yeah. कभी नहीं सोचा हमने. That is in Hindi. In English is we never thought this. Yeah. That means that land basically that is the Canada land, this much 1 kilometer area, that is giving the power supply to these 850 crore computers in Microsoft basically. That is not strange basically. Government knows exactly the land also basically. Government is telling that basically that is that land. Basically. So Microsoft is telling that basically I basically want to go that land basically, yeah, because I am paying you tax. So I should basically get the detailed information basically why basically you are taking me, sorry, why you basically you are charging me this much tax basically. Then they basically started explaining भाई तेरा जो है कैसा है, that is basically this is your land, this is the Canada land, this is basically the land basically which we have taken as a Microsoft energy, and that is the group basically who is basically telling that basically we are generating Microsoft brain, but that is Microsoft energy which is going to generate 1 lakh vegetable, 3 lakh vegetable, 4 lakh vegetable, 5 lakh fruits. This everything basically they explained, and they told that basically that are the 1 crore people. Basically from that basically we are taking the power supply of Microsoft and then basically giving to land. And these are the 1 lakh. This tool basically is created from this 1 lakh people. That is the Microsoft people. This tool is created from that 1 lakh people. So you can't imagine basically what is Microsoft. So Microsoft told them basically yes, basically that basically I know basically. But then basically, then also basically, I want to see that land, or basically, I want to meet that people. People basically almost basically I have connected, but then also basically, I want to see that land. Basically. So government told that basically you can't purchase that land basically, because that is a government property. But at least basically I can sit in that land. Basically. So that's Microsoft basically. because he will do that. Once he basically watched this video, he might do that basically, because government basically are taking the tax amount basically. So the company owner is telling that basically we want the detailed description basically. Why basically you are taking this much tax amount? So they have to give the brief data, because that's their rights. You have to tell that basically this text box basically which you are displaying in the Microsoft, that is coming from that thousand cities, and that thousand cities are, these are the list basically of the thousand cities, and these all are the user stories which is generating in that thousand cities. Just a minute. So that's strange basically. That's strange. Basically. One person told that, yeah, we are supposed to connect long before with you basically, and you are supposed to get job basically. That's very strange basically. Which kind of people basically are staying in India? One of the person told that also basically. Just a minute. So one person told that, that's strange here basically. Not strange basically. That's extraordinary basically. Strange and extraordinary. That also basically you can give the word basically. This type of thing basically is happening. We never basically thought that basically. That that means Microsoft is one story basically. SAP is one story which is controlled by set of groups basically. So you can just imagine basically up to what level the stuff basically are already created. So one person told that that's the world basically which is already created. So one person told that Microsoft basically have the data of how many human needs basically he has created, how many vegetables he has created, how SAP basically is also telling that basically we have the Salesforce is also telling that basically we have the data of all human needs basically which we have created. Then basically he told that SAP is connected with that land, Salesforce is connected with that land, vegetables are connected with that land basically. So that's the connection basically. Connection chaining basically, that is told basically, that is given the name as a connection chaining. So you can just imagine how the world is created. So everything is connected with that data, that is land data, and that is giving the power, and that is created by set of groups. Previously, it was created by satellite group, but now basically they have passed they are hand over the data to Earth planet, because whatever task basically we are doing here basically in this world, that is hand over by Earth planet. That is known as a handover process. For example, I basically was joined as one company, previous company. Somebody was telling that by this is the project basically I am doing. So take the handover. So I taken the handover. That means whatever after you are basically going to from that company, you are basically going to leave that company. After that, basically I am going to take your place basically. So that is known as a handover process. That is known as a handover process. So one of the person told that yes, yeah, basically that is the handover process. Same way basically the satellite group basically are giving the task, and they are basically doing the handover. That is the Earth planet. So power supply 3 lakh multiplied by 3 lakh combinations, 3 lakh power supply. Human needs are more than 20 to 35 lakhs. They are getting power supply from the 3 lakh multiplied by 3 lakh power supply. Human basically exists. Human creation has done. Power supply chain has done. Vehicle basically can't run without power supply. Up to that level, basically, we have discussed. So you can say that the world is created. and everything is chaining system. That also basically we have. So you can just imagine basically up to what level the creation basically has done. So that Canadian land and the lands, that is the 3 lakh land basically, who are giving the power supply to Earth, planet, each and every objects. And Earth, planet, each and every objects basically are behaving like a objects. This bottle basically, water basically is behaving like a water. This mobile is behaving like a mobile. This ink pen is behaving like a ink pen. This cap basically is behaving like a cap. This laptop basically is behaving like a laptop. This mobile is computer is behaving like a computer. This vehicle is behaving like a vehicle. So these all are the stuff. So in next video basically we are going to see a little bit more about this topic.